me. I can do that myself.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Because, I talk so much during the show.
Yeah, I know, and you're quiet. I'm quiet, and you do all the darn damn
and I
talking.
get all, like, my mouth is dry from talking so much.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
You wouldn't understand. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing well. Today's show, we're going to talk about all natural products. But before we do that, you see some birds behind us. Jerry's going to talk a little bit about the birds.
How many minutes do I have? Can I do
I'll
it in
tell
4
you.
minutes?
We'll
4
see.
minutes, okay. It's online now, isn't it? If you're looking for more information or want to refresh yourself with what I'm going to be speaking about actually 20 years ago, I got a call from a man up in northeastern Pennsylvania. His name was John, and he's a racing pigeon guy, been a racing pigeon guy pretty much all his life. And he called me one day, about 20 years ago, and hey, Jerry, he says, I'm not feeling well, I'm getting old. I think I want to get rid of all of my pigeons. He says, but I don't want to go through the aggravation and the process of selling a bird at a time, or somebody calls me and he wants a particular strain or whatever. He says, I'm trying to find somebody that would take them all. And I thought about you. And the reason he thought about me was I had bought some birds, maybe one or two over the years, or he'd been buying stuff from me. So he said, would you be interested in taking all of my birds? And I knew John's reputation. He's up in the Scranton area, almost unbeatable, had some terrific pigeons. And with John, it wasn't the price he had to pay, it was the quality. So he was from both ends. He bought some inexpensive birds, but with his experience, he was able to pick out some really good birds at reasonable prices. But he didn't hold back because of cost. He also spent as much as $500 or more per one bird. So he had some great pigeons. So I bought everything he had at the time, and we weren't having the auctions back then, but we were selling pigeons. So people would call and looking for good quality racing pigeons, and we sold every one of them in a fairly short period of time. Well, fast forward 10 years later, which is now, which is in the last 3 weeks, I got a call from John, and he once again this time he absolutely had to get rid of his pigeons because of serious health issues. And he even had a hard time going in and feeding and watering them. And he did, but he couldn't stay in the loft. So I bought all of his birds again. And I said, John, how many do you have? He said, I think I've got about 100. Do I still have more time? Don't rush me now.
You're getting close. Okay. Keep talking.
So Bill Burchick and I drove up. It was 300 miles one way, a little over, so 600, almost 650 miles round trip in one day. When I got there, we started to crate them all up, and I could see John just wasn't doing well at all. So we bought them all, brought them home, and we put them into cages, similar to what I have back here. And I didn't have enough room, so Bill took them home. But anyways, it wasn't 100, it was 162. We took every bird he had. People will ask me what strain. I know the blacks are black widows. The rest of them, 90% of them are the Jansen strain. And if you're familiar with Jansen, it isn't one strain of Janssen's. There's different ones, Red Star, whatever, different ones.
Van Loon.
Pardon?
Van Loon.
Yep, there's Van Ludens and Hubens and other strains in there. So anyway, to make a long story longer, I bought them all, and they're available to you now. I wasn't about to take 162 individual pictures, because a certain individual who's not appearing on this show but has been mentioned, she would have shot me. 162 pigeons, and I'd had to write something about every one of them. But anyway, they're for sale. I'm going to give you the prices, and if you want to write them down or if you want to call me. These prices do not include shipping and handling. That is based on your zip code. So if you wanted one pair, $100. If you wanted two pair, $175. And if you wanted four pair, it's $350. Somebody called today and ordered because they're on Facebook and Facebook, our website and stuff. So he bought four pair. Four pair is $350. Now his shipping was brought the price to $450. That's the box, the birds, and the shipping. Gives you an idea. Now, I want you to write my number down. Don't call Foy. Don't call Gina. Call the boss man. And I'm going to give you my home phone number. I can't tell you about any particular bird. I promise you I'll pick out the best I possibly can. I'm not selling cocks extra. I'm not selling hens. I'm just selling a hen and a cock. I can sell you a particular color, like most of them are dark checks. Most or the rest of them are light checks. Blue bars, a blue bar with splash, those, but the basic colors that you would find in racing pigeons, not the reds and yellows and those kind of colors. So if you're looking for them, my home phone number is 724-359-5355. I don't answer before 9 or after 5. I do my best not to. Occasionally, if it's somebody I know, I will answer after 5, or if I'm not tired and taking a nap before I go to bed. So once again, 100 for one pair, 175 for two pair, and four pairs, 350. I will pick them out for you, and I'll do my very, very best to give you some terrific pigeons. If you have any questions, you can send a question on the show. Is that okay, boss? Mm-hmm. No. So that's what I wanted to talk about. It says, I wrote here and I didn't mention it. It says, opportunity of a lifetime. And here's what I said. Well, maybe it's not the opportunity of a lifetime, but I'll bet money on it. It'll be some of the best birds you've ever received or ever flown. They're all old birds, no young birds, excuse me, when I say old birds. John's health started to deteriorate about 4 years ago, and he bought no new birds after that. So all of these birds are going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4 years old, and might be a few 5 years old, but they're all in their prime. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Not sorry, but go ahead.
That was more than 4 minutes, but that's okay.
Right.
Now the shipping on the birds, shipping is weather dependent. So if you're in one of them states that are having very high temperatures right now, then the birds will not ship until the temperature drops down.
Not the temperature where you live, and not the temperature where we live, but the temperature of the direction, and in most cases,
in between.
For the example was, we had an order from Texas. Go ahead.
Couldn't ship it because their weather's 95s, 100s, and it's a possibility that the birds would make it, but possibility that they won't. So we will not ship them if the temperature is high here, where you're at, or in between. So just bear with us. If you want the birds and you need them and you want them now, then you have to come pick them up. Can't do nothing else, right?
Right.
Okay.
What did you say?
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay comes from the westerns of the 1800s, and Roy Rogers, or it could have been Gene Autry, sang the song. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway.
Just in case you wanted to know. By the way, a customer was in today. Never been in the store today. In fact, did you wait on a young man with a young boy?
I started, and then Sherry took over.
The young man couldn't have been more, I'm guessing, 14, 15 years old. He was so proud of himself, as he should be. He, not his father, he races pigeons. And he beat everybody. In a 300-mile race, he was first above every club, everybody in the combine.
That's awesome. Good for him. Okay.
I'm trying to behave myself.
You never behave yourself. We're going to start with the question before we get on with the show. Hi, Stacy. Stacy asks, what is the benefit of elderberry juice for race birds and when do you give it?
Go ahead.
So, the elderberry juice that we sell is human grade, so you can drink it yourself. The taste ain't that great. What are you laughing at? The taste isn't that great, but you can get used to it. I used to drink it all the time, but now I take the gummies.
You take the gummy bears?
No,
Oh, okay.
the gummy elderberry,
Okay.
not the gummies you take.
Okay.
Where was I at?
Well, we were going to talk about elderberry juice and when should you use it, and what's it for.
Support your immune system.
Well, and it's also been used on the adenovirus. And understand there's no treatments for viruses, but it is a product that seems to make the birds feel better, and it also, as Gina said, strengthens the immune system. It is certainly an all-natural product. People have had luck with it for respiratory issues also. As far as using it, being 100% natural, as we talk about natural things, you're going to find that you're probably going to use elderberry juice and other natural products more than you might antibiotics. There's a big difference, and maybe we should mention that before we go on, the difference between the two, antibiotics and what is it?
Let's just finish this, and once we get into the show, we'll talk about it. Or if you want to mention it now, by all means.
I'm pouting.
No pouting allowed on the show.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Oh.
No, I thought, we can't spend all of the time, but everything that we're sharing with you, at least in most cases, is in the catalog. So it gives you the directions and then how to use it and what it's for. But we wanted to spotlight natural products.
All natural.
It wasn't my idea.
Not natural idea. Brand, all natural products.
Why do you say that?
Because we have the natural brand, and you said natural. Some people might assume you're talking about natural products.
Well, you know what happens when you assume.
Right, but people do it. So
people also assume.
All natural products. Anyways, what strain are the birds for sale? As Jerry said, they're all different strains. Hubins, Jansons, Van Loons.
Black Widows.
Yeah.
And when we say Jansen, there are multiple types of strains of the Jansen breed, the Jansen strain. So you're going to, in most cases, you're going to get Jansens. If you buy the blacks, the Black Widows. The rest of them could be Hubins, could be anything. I don't have pedigrees. Well, I can get you a pedigree in some cases, but it's $50 just for the pedigree because the gentleman is in his mid-80s. He's not a strong computer person, but all of his pedigrees are on a computer. He hasn't updated them for 2 years, but he still has the information. I'd rather not sell pedigree. Don't want to put him to work, so to speak. So the answer is what we just spoke of.
Thank you. Hi, Vicki. I'm sorry. I forgot to text you back. Can you explain to Vicki what you told me about the floor covering for chickens? Vicki asked if you can use the natural granulated floor covering in the chicken loft.
I say that with no reservations, but a couple of reservations. But they're not really reservations.
None or a couple?
Vicki. I see absolutely no reason why you can't. You're going off-label. What was mean by off-label is what the natural company says it's for. But the floor covering, which is a huge seller for us, we bring in literally tons of it. And it's clay, from the Belgium area. It's either Belgium or Holland, I forget which one, but it's from Europe. And it's ground up clay. And in the clay is also an anticoccidiosis, which is not a medicine, it's not an antibiotic, so it's perfectly safe. My pigeons peck at it. I've never had any problem. A chicken has a much stronger or a much bigger body, would have even less effect on chickens, and my pigeons are not affected at all. And on a rare occasion, which I always tell people don't do it, but I know there's been a couple of times when I brought some new chickens in and I didn't have the place ready for them, and I would put the chickens in with a few pigeons, no problem at all. I've seen the pigeons pecking at it, no problem. So all I can tell you, Vicki, is if it were me, I'd have no fear.
Thank you.
Thanks for Vicki's one of our real strong supporters, and it's always nice to hear.
And we appreciate it.
Wojodowitz? How do you pronounce it?
Watowitz.
Watowitz.
Something like that.
Sure.
I practiced it for a while, Vicki, and I forget now. Watowitz, I think.
Well, if you had a question, send a question in. And if you want more information about the birds, I will tell you, I don't take credit cards. They're my birds, personal. It's a money order or a check, or you can pick them up and look at them. If you want to come on a weekend, I'll even meet you on a weekend. Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No, not at all. You never interrupt me.
Yeah, I know. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I also wanted to bring up that all of our live videos that we do are on YouTube as well. They're organized on there. You can just look up Foy's Pigeon Supplies on YouTube, and you'll find them on there. That may sometimes be easier for you.
And are we going on to another one also? We don't want to talk about it yet? Okay.
That's all for now.
That's all for now.
Foy's and YouTube. So, you always throw me off.
Foy's website and YouTube and Facebook.
Our videos aren't on Facebook, are they? Yes. In the feed, yeah.
I'll try that.
You keep throwing me off. Jeez. Huh? Yeah. On our website too. Yeah, I think I
was going to
said
say
that.
but I don't want to.
I didn't say that? Okay. Anyways, back to the regularly scheduled program.
We interrupt. Well, Jerry interrupts.
Yeah. So today's show is on natural products. All natural, meaning the pigeons will not become immune to them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't overdo some natural products, as well as antibiotics. But Jerry is going to be so kind as to discuss the natural products with us. And the ones that he talks about, we have a lot more than what we're going to talk about. So if you ever have any questions on them, you can give any of us here at the office a call, or you can give Jerry a call. The boss man, as he says. You're up. Go ahead.
May I speak?
You may.
We talked a little bit about this. And I hope you guys don't mind me. I am what I am, as Popeye said. The major difference between antibiotics and all natural. The antibiotics are for occasional use when needed. Using antibiotics, and I've talked about this so many times, on a regular basis is counterproductive. Number one, pigeons will develop an immunity to antibiotics. Long-term use of antibiotics. When your birds are healthy and you're still giving them antibiotics, you're going to create not only a resistance to the drug, you're going to destroy their immune system over time, you're going to create infertility, and you're going to weaken them so that instead of making them healthy, you're making them sick. You cannot medicate your way to good health. Clear. The complete opposite is when we talk about natural. Number one, you do and must use them long term. It isn't something that you give them once a week or once a month. It's every day, every day. Just like one a day tablets that you're taking. Pardon?
Vitamins.
I'm sorry, I was talking.
I'm helping you.
Oh. Anyways, vitamins are preventive. Antibiotics are not. Antibiotics are short-term use, 7 days, 10 days with a few exceptions. The vitamins you're using every day. When I had all of my pigeons and I had a regimen, when I did it regularly, I always gave them Sunday off. I gave them clear water. That's up to you. Your best bet is to set up a plan. There are a lot of products that have the same vitamins in them. One might be vitamin A, D, C, whatever it is. When you're deciding what you're going to do, you have to stick with it. Give it 6 months. Don't stick with it and don't see a difference in 1 week or a month. Give it 6 months. But when you pick up two products, let's say they're both vitamins or supplements of some sort, make sure those two products aren't full of the same vitamins. You want a variation. Oh, thank you. Variety? No, variation is a better word than variety in this particular case.
That's why you said it.
Well, I'm trying to cover the fact that you're interrupting me.
That's why I whispered it.
Okay. So we're going to be talking about vitamins, but in the same conversation, we're going to be talking about minerals. Vitamins, minerals, grits are in a mineral, but we're not going to talk about grit today. But there are a lot of different minerals that are supplementation also. So if you have a question while we're talking, send a question in via Facebook. We will interrupt our conversation because your calls are very, very special, and we will go to them as soon as we possibly can.
No, I didn't say nothing. I'm trying to smile for the camera.
You know, how do you have such white teeth? Look at mine. Yellow. Life isn't.
You were a smoker.
No.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, but I smoked a few cigarillos, and I smoked cigarettes for maybe a year.
Cigarillo.
The tip, it's a cigar with a plastic tip.
Okay.
But I've had yellow teeth all my life. I know what it was. When I was very young, my brother Danny and my brother Bob and I were in a field, and there was a big culvert, and that was our hideout. So we'd go into this culvert, and we would pick corn that was ripe. You know the black stuff on the end of it. Well, you pull that out, and we would roll it in just paper and light it. Boy, did you get a headache from that stuff. But maybe that's why I have yellow teeth.
Maybe that's what's wrong with you.
I wish I remembered that young man's name that was in here today. Maybe he'll send it in to us.
Look.
A young man with a first name. He was in the store. If you're watching the show, just tell me what your name is. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I can't remember. The last name started with the L, I know. Levitsky or something. Right?
Yes.
Something.
Because I kidded him because it ended in ZY or something like that. And I said, that's Irish, isn't it? And,
yes.
okay.
So are you going to talk about some products?
We are going to talk about
I meant,
products.
are we?
Yep. You pick out a product, and when you pick out the product,
apple
you find
cider
it in the
vinegar.
Can. Okay. But if you pick a product, this will remind me because I can't remember.
Okay.
Okay. This is Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and I specify Bragg's. It's made in California. It is the best apple cider vinegar, and like all products that are the best or very, very good, The other companies will now make their own apple cider vinegar. There's nothing better than this one. And most of the time, this is probably the most expensive one on the shelf. I'll tell you a little bit of story. I was on the air for 10 years on radio, and we did a natural show similar to what we're doing now. We had, her name is Bragg, Bragg. That's her last name, from California. And we had her on our show once a month. And we introduced apple cider vinegar back then. And this was close to 40 years ago. In fact, the local stores, the local drugstores started to stock it because of the show we did. And they got so many calls. So if you're looking for a good product, there's a little bit of stuff down here. It's cloudy. It's supposed to be. That's called the mother. In fact, and I can tell you so much about this because we talked about it so often. Back in the days when they had the wagon trains, real wagon trains in the 1800s, they would take the mother, this apple cider vinegar in a mother, and never ever use it all. They could always start a new batch of apple cider vinegar with the mother. Without the mother, it's nothing. So anyways, let me tell you the benefits of it. The most important thing is that it creates an acidic environment in the drinking water. This is human brand. A lot of people drink a teaspoon or a tablespoon or take a teaspoon or tablespoon every day for their own long-term good health. But having an acidic environment in the drinking water, you've created a situation where many bacteria cannot survive. And so if you're using it on a regular basis, on apple cider vinegar 2 or 3 times a week, not every day, but long term, part of what you're going to set up as a program for yourself. The long-term use will help prevent bacterial infections. The prime one is paratyphoid. Not a treatment, a preventative, like antibiotics are not a benefit, they're a treatment. So that's apple cider vinegar. We stock it. And I would never, ever buy apple cider vinegar in a plastic container because this is glass. And we have to wrap it very carefully because being acidic, being acid in it, it will eat through plastic over a period of time. Apple cider vinegar. Boy, if I spend that much time on every product, we'll be here till midnight.
Oh, no.
No, you don't feel well, do you?
No, I don't.
I don't feel well. I mean, I feel well, but I spent the day cleaning cages. So I'm a little tired. Plus, I have to clean this one because Gina coughs and sniffs and whenever there's pigeons close to her. So these cages are recently cleaned.
I appreciate that.
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to show them a pigeon, but I don't want to get off the course. I was going to pick one.
Thank you. Don't let it fly on my head.
What's that?
Improver.
Improver.
Should be right here.
Okay, you're going to remind me of the benefits.
Uh-huh.
Improver and fungal or the other
And
one? Just Improver?
antifungal.
Yeah.
That might be it right
Yeah,
there.
okay. All right. Improver. This is made by a company, if I remember right, Holland or Norway.
I think Norway.
And the fact that we're talking about natural products, we're actually a little bit behind. Europe, especially Belgium, is a hotbed for pigeons and have been experimenting with things for years and years. And Europe is much more strict on the use of antibiotics. So over the years, Europe has switched to a lot of natural products, long-term use, and it keeps their birds, in most cases, very healthy. So this is a product from Europe made specifically for the pigeon population. And it is used for...
Which one? Improver?
Improver, yeah.
Sorry. Paratyphoid, Salmonella, E. coli, adenovirus.
Mm-hmm. See, they can add adenovirus or viruses to a lot of products because they're not telling you they're going to treat the viruses. They tell you they're going to help them through. When it does attack, like we got the virus here in this country, when it does attack, in most cases, it's much more mild, much more mild an attack than would be if you weren't using natural products. This is a product that these two products, the antifungal, must be used with this one.
Right.
So if you're going to use the improver, which is for other things, and it also is really good for fungus and products, and fungus is more of a problem than many of you realize. These two products go together to treat fungus infection. So if you're looking for a product for fungus, or if I've told stories about fungus before, how I've found it, they're good products. They're combination. It's the only thing we have in all of the products we sell. This must be used with this. Okay?
Let's talk about garlic.
Okay. Do we have it here?
Right there.
Okay. Garlic, number one, you can make your own garlic juice. Just buy the cloves of garlic, and there are garlic presses that you can buy in stores that sell kitchen appliances. It's like a nutcracker. Squeezes them and the juice goes down. So you can make your own fresh garlic juice every day if you want. Why garlic? Garlic, most of us know, is a natural antibiotic. Without the many benefits, without the many problems that you could have with, I lost my train of thought. Will you listen
with
to me?
antibiotics.
Yeah. Okay. Don't mind me. This is going to, but if you guys watch this on a regular basis, it's going to get worse. Ever since I've turned my 80th birthday, it's going downhill. But
I blame it on COVID.
okay. Okay. I had that too. But anyway, garlic comes as a juice. We have it. We have garlic in a powder that can be mixed with the drinking water also. Garlic is something that is great and used. I suppose it's the most used natural product of anything that's available for pigeons. Thousands, if not millions in the world, use it to long-term use through the use of garlic. But there's a couple of things. If you have racing pigeons, or if you fly your birds competitively, like tipplers and rollers, do not give it. Do not give garlic the day or the 2 days before a race or a competitive fly. It is not a good thing. It's going to bring him down for water. But the other thing I wanted to mention is not the powder as much as the garlic juice we were talking about cannot be used every day. No more than 3 times a week. Don't put it in your water every day, because long-term use, and I don't want to scare you because it's a good product, both of them, or all of them, but it can create digestive problems in the intestines. So talking about garlic, a lot of people use it. It is a good product. You should use it on a regular basis.
It's also good for the molt.
Yep.
And good for recovery after a race.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you. See, it's in our catalog, but I can't remember it all.
Who said I didn't know that off the top of my head?
I apologize. I apologize.
That's okay. Apology accepted.
You know, I was thinking about this yesterday, as most, when you guys don't know, but I don't come in every day anymore. I'm retired. But I was thinking 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, my phone rang off the hook. I mean, I would go from one to get 25 calls in a day many years ago was not unusual. I don't get those calls anymore. I get 2 or 3 calls, 5 calls, maybe 5 or 6 or 8 calls a day. That's because Gina, Kim, and Sherry really know what the heck they're talking about. And Eric is learning. Eric's a pigeon guy, works for us, but he's learning just like they learn by listening and questioning. Not to go off point, but I will. I'm writing a book, and it probably won't be ready until the end of the year. but it's going to be on pigeon health with a lot of other information, but pigeon health mainly as 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 I'm trying to, how do I say it? Most veterinarians are very technical.
Mm.
I write this book, and every time I write a chapter, I'm on the internet under, what do you call it? Google? No, when you want to look up the definition of something.
Google.
Google. Every time I see this big long word, and in the book, I use the long word, but in parentheses, I write what it really means to you, to me, not to another vet or a doctor. So
Right.
each I've attacked each individual health issue that a pigeon can get, and I'm not done yet. But I've seen the things already. Gina's got, every time I write a chapter, Veronica types or you type it and do all they're supposed to check the spelling.
Grammar.
But we talked about one the other day, didn't we? What was it? And I said, it's in that book.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, coccidiosis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you knew it, but you just didn't have the confidence.
Right.
But I said, go look at that book, and you did, and
Yeah.
it was right there. All right. So
Before you get on that, I wanted to say about garlic. If some of you remember Dr. Pigeon, he had a garlic juice,
mhm.
and he made that from fresh garlic.
Yes, he did, and we sold it. So,
Yes.
yeah, and then he made a garlic powder too. Back then, garlic powder came. Yeah, Dr. Pigeon, garlic powder.
Garlic juice.
Garlic. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and he made that from fresh garlic. Yeah.
Was you
That was a task. That took a lot.
okay?
Okay.
You know
next.
what? This show must be so damn interesting.
Boy.
Very few people are sending in questions. I'll bet you I can just close my eyes and visualize. They're get their head down. They're writing all their down.
I'm sure they
but
are.
but we can tell you that the show is on our website, right? Every show we do, if you go to the website, you can read it.
And YouTube.
Who's he calling a boy?
Hey, Kevin. Kevin says, hey, Pigeon Boy, why can't I rate your birds? I got a great bird from you, and I want to let the world know. Okay.
Yeah, I'll answer it. I don't want, it's selfish. I don't want to get involved in the time it takes for record keeping and
No.
all of that.
That's not what he's saying.
Oh, okay. How can I?
Like they go
Okay.
on our website and rate. They bought this product and they want to rate it and say how good it is or how bad it is. So he's saying he wants to rate your birds because it's a great bird and he wants the world to know it.
Well, and Kevin, and I remember the name. That's not how I read the question, but she could be correct and probably is correct. But
You can
Veronica,
do it on our
you're not on the
website.
show. You refuse to get on the show, so we don't need any
Thank
comments
you.
from you. Go ahead.
So you can do it on our website under it's like it'll yeah, so it'll be under the birds and then you can put your rating under there, Kevin.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand it that way. But the other thing is, it's very difficult for us to rate our own products because I know. But would you?
Oh, okay.
I'll be quiet. Will you interrupt me?
Okay, go
Are you
ahead.
done?
I'm done.
Okay. If we were to rate products, we couldn't do it because we might sell 6 different brands or 6 different products. Canker medicine. We might have 8 or 10 of them. Some like one, some like another. I had to get that in.
I know you did. I know. Okay. Can I use Endecto to worm chickens?
Endoecto.
Endecto. Endoecto.
Endoecto.
But
Yes. Yes. And if not, doesn't the endo come in drops and
no.
no more just the pill?
Well, we have the endo tablets from Aviomed, and we have the Endecto drops from DAC.
Okay. The answer is yes, but because of body size, you're going to have to use more, Vicky. So if you're bantams, you might want to increase it, double it. If you're full size, the big chickens,
we're there. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. We had some technical difficulties.
My wife, you going home, Vicky? Yeah. Okay, my wife just mentioned that she was going home. She comes in on Fridays to help.
Sorry about that, guys. What were we talking about?
Endorexo from Vicky. Yeah.
So I don't know if she heard you, so maybe you might want to
Yeah,
say
my answer, of course, was that you should increase the dosage, at least double. There's no reason why you can't use it. But I tell a lot of people, it may not apply to chickens as much as pigeons. When you're using it, if you're trying to worm your pigeons, clean the floor afterwards, because if you're worming chickens or pigeons, it paralyzes the roundworms, and the roundworms are passed through the droppings, and the paralyzation works out in 24 hours. So if you don't clean your loft, the chickens or pigeons are going to pick it right back up again.
Adam asked, how much apple cider vinegar should we put in a gallon of water? 1 tablespoon per gallon.
Hi, Adam. That's a customer. He bought pigeons from us before, hasn't he?
Yep. Hold on, Anthony. She's trying to get it together over here. Okay, Anthony asks, what natural product can you use to keep Coxie in check during races?
Okay. It's a good question, because sometimes, Anthony, people get confused. There are 3 drugs or 3 diseases that we talk about. One is canker, one is coccidiosis, and one is worms. The treatment of those are not antibiotics. Those 3 are what we call protozoa, and they don't respond to antibiotics. So the Dr. Pigeons is a natural coccidicide. Do we have another one that you can think of? I'm trying to remember. But natural would be a coccidicide, but there are others. But what's important about using the coccidicide or other coccidiosis treatments is you rotate them. You're not going to give the same thing all the time, because the cocci or the canker or the worms will develop a resistance to it. Is there one in there?
Especially coccidiosis.
Yep.
Oh no, that's canker, sorry. No, I don't think no other natural.
We're looking in our catalog.
That one,
I think.
No, that's not.
Well, Anthony, what you can do is, I'm going to give you my home phone number. I'll be home after 5, and I'll look for your call if you want to make a call. I'll do some research when I get home, and if there's another one, I will let you know.
Okay. Hand me that garlic, please.
Yep.
No, that garlic. Okay, Tony, garlic is, for our garlic powder, it is 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. So is the apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon per gallon of water.
Okay.
Hold on, one more question. Kevin, I have Probios with garlic and pigeon builder. Can I mix the 2 and give to my birds, say on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays?
Yes, I can. Yes, you can. What I would suggest you do is, yes, mix them together. The probiotic or probios as directed, the pigeon builder as directed, and the garlic I would cut in half.
He has the probios with garlic.
Oh, I misunderstood. Sure, they're already mixed together, and yes, you can use it with garlic. Where? We're going to another product?
Go ahead.
I want to talk about this one, because I know we're going to run out of time.
Okay.
But it's okay to go over, right?
Go ahead. I mean, a
You can
little
go
bit.
home.
It's
I don't
Friday.
There's a product that we sell. Nobody else in a hobby sells it. We created it with the help of some very intelligent people. Um, it's called Ultra Pro. Pro means probiotic. Ultra means the best that you can get. So we had an ultra vitamin that we sell. We mix the two together with a specific ratio. And if you're looking for something long term without the problems of buying individual vitamins and supplements and things, Ultra Pro comes in two sizes. It's a teaspoon when you use it. It goes in your drinking water. So this is the easiest it possibly can be, because here in America, we look for the easiest way, right? So in this case, if you really want to go the natural route, I'm not talking about apple cider vinegar, but vitamins and probiotics, it's Ultra Pro. Oops.
Okay, Babs K's bunny ears. My 3 indoor pet pigeons finally got a large aviary to spend their summer outdoor. I do not let them free fly. I have applied Endecto as a prevention for lice, mites, and worms. They are not vaccinated. Any other suggestions of what I should do to keep them healthy while being outdoors?
Well, one of the things we may not get to it, and this may have to be another show for another time because we're running out of time. One thing you've got to do, Babs, is make sure they get sunlight or natural light. It's very, very important. Uh, the natural light or sunlight has vitamin D3, which is essential. Essential. Birds can't live long term in most cases with it, or if they do, they're just asking for trouble. So make sure they have sunlight. I would give them, assuming you feed a pigeon feed, a good quality pigeon feed. I don't think you probably would be better to buy a conditioner feed with no corn, because corn builds bad body fat. So I would suggest supplementation with something like Ultra Pro. I would suggest a good top quality pigeon feed and make sure that they get sunlight. When it comes to medication, I would suggest no antibiotics at all unless you need them. But it wouldn't hurt to use a product called 3-in-1, not 4-in-1, not 5-in-1, 3-in-1. If you don't have a problem, every 6 months. If you do have an issue or think you have an issue, every other month. That treats those 3 protozoa, and there's no 3-in-1, there's no antibiotics in it. Did I do something wrong?
No.
Well, I just expect to look over and see you smiling all the time.
I was thinking, and I lost my train of thought.
No more questions.
Oh, I was gonna say, we get health questions calls every day, as Jerry was saying earlier. So we always tell customers, feel free to call us if something's wrong with your birds, you're not sure what's going on. Some of the common questions we'll ask you is what the droppings look like. If you don't know what a normal dropping looks like, then give us a call and we'll tell you some things to look for. We'll ask you about their eating and drinking habits. Is it normal? What else?
I don't know whether can they see this? I just reached back for one of my pigeons. Can they see that?
Okay.
Good. This one.
Yep.
That's a normal dropping. The bottom is dark. It can be black, and it's fine. The top is white, and that's urine, and it should be in a ball, not all spread out.
Or like a mound?
Yes, a mound. And when you see feathers all over the dropping, little, not wing feathers, but the little down, that tells you you've got some really helpful pigeons. Now, what other Facebook or any other pigeon show, when you get a question, you reach back and pick up some pigeon shit and show to people, it looks like.
Because I wouldn't do it. When I wash my hands probably 100 times a day at work, and I'll go in from being out here and go straight to the bathroom, wash my hands. Eric's like, you must have been around the pigeons. because I'd have been running to wash my hands right now. So please keep them over there.
Okay, Anthony's got a question?
Yeah, Anthony. Is it okay to keep the Ultra Pro in the refrigerator to help it keep? I love this product. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, you can. Not necessary. The most important thing is that you keep the lid tight. But if you have the ability to do that, absolutely, probably would extend the life of the product. Anthony, thank you very much. Did Anthony buy pigeons from us? He just looked. The name looks familiar.
I think he already asked the question prior to that one.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I know what are we're gonna do, Gina? You're not feeling well. The show is over in 8 minutes. We have a lot of. Maybe I'll stay.
We can go over a few
Okay.
minutes.
All right. Well, I just want one, maybe half an hour. Okay,
It won't.
we
but
talked about that.
We were getting ready to talk about Soma Block.
Let me read this, okay?
Okay.
Well, I've got a book. It's
Whatever you
not
wanna
in
do.
print anymore. It's written by Dr. Zolt Caliber overseas. He sent it to me and he signed it and gave it to me. Here's what I get a lot of my tips. The name of the book is Vet's Tips. Don't ask for the book because it's out of print. Here's what he said. He writes little tips in here. Let me see. The champion of the future will be the fancier who manages his or her loft with the most accuracy. He's talking about keeping records. Using a lot of medicines in a routine or regular way is nothing but inaccurate. In other words, what he's saying, even when he wrote this book, the overuse of medicine is not the answer. It's record keeping, diseases you've had in the past, medicines that you've had in the past that work, what's happening in your loft, and dating it. So you might have a situation where the same disease comes back and what you use to use it. So record keeping is just so important. It's almost like a diary.
Okay, Kevin asks, how old must the hen be before her first mating?
What's the answer?
I don't know.
Guess.
A year.
Close. 6 to 7 months
Huh.
is not
That's what I was gonna
unusual, but sometimes it is a year. But the average hen matures at about 7 months of age. Rick, hi Rick. Rick breeds some great white pigeons, white racing homers. How many times a week should I give Pigeon Builder? 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is good. And in between, you can maybe with the Pigeon Builder, you can add some vinegar on a different day, or other supplements that are not included with the Pigeon Builder. Pigeon Builder was originally compounded by the people who owned the business before me. And Claire Hetland was a pharmacist, and he came up with Pigeon Builder. It is the biggest selling vitamin supplement in all of the United States when it comes to pigeon, bar none. We buy it by the ton, and we go through more than a ton, 2,000 pounds in a year. So Rick's using a great product. No product is great unless you have used it over a 6-month period of time, and you'll make the decision then. But once again, maybe take a picture of your pigeon, how it looked today and how it looks in 6 months. You might see a difference. Okay?
Yep. Okay.
What would you like?
Now we're talking about Soma Block. Right there.
This one?
Dr. Pigeon, yeah.
All right. I'll be real quick about it, but we're talking about prevention. Dr. Pigeon invented this a while back. It's called Soma Block. It helps block, nothing is perfect, the attack of salmonella, which is paratyphoid. It's a teaspoon to a gallon, but it's all natural. It's a natural sugar and herbal mix. He's got lactose and some other long words, but He tells you to use it 2 times a week as a deterrent to help restore ailing birds. Used daily until they return to good health. So it's not just paratyphoid. If you have sick birds and they're recovering, use this every day until they're back to normal.
So, in talking about the natural products, I think we have 3 lines that carry a lot of all natural products, which would be Hilton Herb, Pigeon Vitality, and the company Natural.
And the one in Norway, we just talked
Pigeon
about?
Vitality.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then some others scattered here and there. So now we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the, one of the Hilton Herbs.
This one looks like
We'll grab one. Not vitamins. We talked about vitamins. We'll do the detox. No, we won't. We'll do the airborne.
You got to go to a restaurant with her.
Oh, no.
You can have 20
Don't.
people, and she's first. Would you please come back to me? After 20 people ordered to go back to her, she said, can you give me a few more minutes? Isn't that true? You have a hard time making decisions about what you're going to eat.
Better.
Okay. All right. This is airborne. It's a product that you may not be aware of this, but pigeons have allergies just like humans do. And sometimes when you have a bird, pardon?
That goes along with the question. But
Oh,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
So pigeons do have allergies. This particular product helps to keep their bronchial tubes clear. So it's going to be something that's going to help some of the what you think is like a respiratory, a cold issue, not necessarily. And it helps with the eyes. I had a young man today, he might be watching the show. He picked up one of my birds that we have here. And the first thing he looked at the eye real close. It's very, very important in looking at quality and health of pigeons. So it helps with that. So, and it also helps with bacterial infection. It's all natural products. I can't see the question.
So Lewis asked, what natural product can you use to keep the respiratory system healthy?
Well, that would be one.
So we have that one, airborne, and we have Airways Gold is also for respiratory.
So the 2 products, Airways Gold and
that's 2 of them.
Yep.
There's other ones I can't think right now.
Well, one thing, and I'm not finding fault with Luis, but take the time to go through the catalog. You'll be amazed, and get yourself a what do they call them?
Notebook.
A Sharpie or a yellow marker.
Highlighter.
And every time you see something that you are wondering about or that makes sense to you, mark it so you can go back to it. Because all of that stuff is in there. What for respiratory we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Luis, I think I remember that name too.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, the catalog has a lot. Somebody likes to write like he talks. A lot of good information in there.
And wait until you see the book. It's going to make it so much easier and will answer questions like Luis. The book itself it has different little blurbs. Every one would have a list of symptoms which will tell you what caused that particular disease.
Mm-hmm.
And before we take Nuno's, it is Nuno, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very happy.
Let her finish what you're saying.
All right. I wanted to mention again, because if you didn't watch the show, and I'll make it much clearer, much quicker, I bought over 150 birds from a gentleman who is a top-rated flyer from the Scranton, Pennsylvania area. Some of the best pigeons I've ever handled. If you're interested, I have them for sale. Only pairs, no single birds. You have to call me at home. If you have any questions, I'll help you. Most of them are Hubans, Jansons, Van Loons, and I have 3 or 4 Black Widows. So if you call me, I'm going to give you my phone number in a couple of minutes. We'll take this question, we'll come back, and I'll give you my phone number so that you have time to get a pen.
Okay. Nuno says, hi Jerry and Gina, very happy with tipplers. My question is, I have 2 cockbirds. They are good spinners. The problem is sometimes they roll too deep and they hit my house roof or my garage. Anything that I can do?
No, you've got, the only thing you can do, never fly the bird again. Make it a breeder. It's an excellent pigeon. It's so good. At times when it's dropping and falling, it's so ingrained in it, it keeps going and hits the ground or a building and kills itself. So there's nothing you can do, because if you stop that, you may stop the ability of the rest of your tipplers. So your best bet would pick out a real good bird, a hen, and mate it to those two cocks, and you'll be raising some top quality birds. But there's nothing you can do about stopping that particular bird without damaging the rest.
Okay. Thank you.
By the way, Nuno mentioned we used to sell tipplers, and I just didn't want to do it anymore, didn't have the time, or didn't have a place to keep them. But if you're looking for good quality tipplers, you give me a call and I'll get them for you. But I just don't stock them anymore.
Homers and rollers.
Yep, racing homers and rollers. Yep. And these homers that I've got, call me at 724-359-5355. You cannot leave a message. So I see that you called when I get home, and I'll return your call. Do not, please don't call me numerous times. It just ties up my caller ID. Only once. I call everybody back, and if you call 3 or 4 times, there's no advantage. I'm still going to call you back when I get home. Okay.
I'll call him and he'll call me back. He'll be like, "Yes, this is Jerry. Like, this is your daughter." Don't even know my voice on the phone, huh?
Well, no, I answer it before I hear your voice. You must admit
True.
that.
And I'll be like,
I always try to answer the
"Hello?"
phone. Hello, this is Jerry. How can I help you? Isn't that about what I said?
You're right. Yeah.
Why are you finding wrong with that?
I'm not.
You getting tired and grumpy?
No, I just don't feel good.
Okay.
Okay, so we got another question from Alex. Alex says, "I have a pair of fantails that lay eggs constantly, but the eggs never hatch. Any suggestions?"
Alex, I don't know too much about you, but if you are a breeder of American fantails, I'm assuming, and have never trimmed your birds for breeding season, that's the one thing you have to do. Fantails have an enormous amount of feathers, really a lot of feathers, because of the fan and the breeding that's been done. So if you don't trim the feathers close to the vent when the birds copulate, you know that what that means? You want me to use some other description?
Go ahead.
Oh, when they have sex, the male
no.
cannot contact the female to install the sperm, so the eggs don't become fertile. Although they're going to lay on a regular basis, the eggs won't be fertile. The other thing you can try is, if you have more than one pair of fantails, break the pair up and make the hen and the cock 2 different mates. And the next time they lay eggs, whichever one is infertile is the one that either the cock or the hen, it isn't always the hen, becomes, if it's the cock, you'll know. If it's the hen, you'll know, because the eggs aren't fertile. Another thing, we sell products, and I know they work. We sell a product called Hen, and we sell a product called Cox. They're tablets.
Fertility.
They're fertility tablets. But why not find out the way I've just mentioned and go through the breeding and let them lay eggs to see if anything like that works. If it doesn't, then you're probably going to have to try something like that, the fertility tablets. And in some cases, whether it's the male or the female, you may never get fertile eggs. The only way you're going to do it is switching the pairs to find out.
Thank you.
We're going to talk anymore?
We can for a few minutes.
What do you want to talk about?
Trichole.
Okay. This is Trichole stop. In Europe, they don't call it canker. It's trichomoniasis. So tri-coli. Tri is the trichomoniasis. It's coli because it's also effective for E. coli. But it's a capsule, all natural. Let me see if they do. I don't know whether they tell you the ingredients. Oh yeah, it's got all kinds of ingredients, but a lot of them are long words. So if you have had a problem with canker, oops, there's a cockbird out there. Those are supposed to be hens. So anyway, tricholi stop for canker, all natural way, and it wouldn't hurt to use it 2 or 3 times a year if you have a history of canker. I really, some people never ever had a case of canker. I can't remember the last time I've had it. So if you want to use it, this is to be used as a more of a preventative than as a treatment. And being all natural, you can use it regularly.
They also have a tricoli powder, but the powder goes on the feed, not in the drinking water.
And we Americans do not. We much prefer the drinking water because
Feed.
so many of us are lazy because it goes on the feed that takes more work. But in Europe, going on the feed is the way most of them use it.
So I had a call from a customer the other day. The vent was swollen, right?
Vent?
Was that the one that was canker? Remember?
And it wasn't canker, or it was?
No,
canker?
we think it was. But I was going to say, most of us think canker's in the throat.
Yeah, good point. I remember the call.
But it could be.
It was in the rectum.
Yes.
Canker is a protozoa, and it can appear on any bare skin, or it can appear internally, or it can appear in the throat. And in this particular case, the bird had canker in the rectum, and the rectum was swollen. And after conversations with the people, then we pretty much figured out what he had was canker, although most people never think of that.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't even have thought of that.
I think we're pretty much done. Okay.
Me too.
I know you're not feeling well. Once again, if you're interested in some really top quality pigeons, I'll pick out the best I can. You give me a call, 724-359-5355. It's my home. I'll call you back. What was that one from Alex? Okay.
It was for me,
Oh,
from Veronica.
go ahead.
I just want to remind people that on our website now we do have an online chat. So if some people don't like to talk on the phone, so you can chat with us online about any of the products or any questions that you have. And one of us here will answer your question.
Well, you just answered something I didn't understand, and you just explained it to me.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and finish it.
So the online chat, you can just ask a question about a product or a health question, and we will answer it online. Sometimes if it's a health question, though, we'll ask you to call us. If it's going to be several questions, like when we get the phone calls, we'll ask question after question to try to figure out what's going on. So we do offer that now, the online chat. And anything else?
No, what I was going to say is when I've seen these online and so forth, let's chat or something like that, I always thought it meant let's talk. Chat.
Talk.
Right, but it isn't necessarily what you're saying is it's online and you can send your question in and you'll
type
send
it.
Yeah, type the answer in and you'll
Yeah.
probably type the answer
Type it back.
And you're
Yeah.
not talking.
You're not talking.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're talking.
That's what, remember, I'm a little older
You're
than you.
right,
My brain
just a
goes
little
back
bit.
and
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be your father.
Yes, you are. Imagine that.
All
Okay.
right. Well, I sure hope people call me about the birds because I need to
Some
move
nice
them. The
birds.
prices are reasonable.
Yes. So
We're
with that,
done.
if you have any questions about the birds, call Jerry. Any health questions, anything else, give us a call at the store. Any one of us can help you. May 2nd will be our next show, our next Facebook Live. And I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day.
Oh, when are we going out? You said
Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
Have a great weekend.
Yes, do that.
I'm sorry,
and,
July 2nd.
I'm going home and take a nap, and you're going home and take some pills.
July 2nd. We'll see you July 2nd. No, I'm not.
You know, Vicky said, I can't believe it. She told me yesterday. Sometimes your show's once a month, sometimes it's twice a month, then it goes back to once a month. Why don't you make up your mind? The people must think you're stupid. Can't make up your mind like you at dinner.
Right.
See if
I hope that ain't the poopy hand that you just touched me with.
no, this is the poopy hand.
Thanks.
Want to smell it?
No. Bye.